Good morning, Russell. Such a good girl. My little baby's right here with me. There she is. Yes, girl. You're my baby girl, aren't you? Yeah. I know the day's gonna come, probably not too far in the distance, that she's not gonna be around, but looking forward to that, right? Okay, Joe. Brenda says hi, Mia. Mia's bugging me. I don't know if she wants something to eat or what's going on here, but I'll be right back. Don't go away. Um, Brenda, keep an eye on the channel. Good girl. Sorry about that, gang. Justin is here, huh? Yeah, well, I just got done feeding Mia. She's got her breakfast because I made some fresh food for her yesterday. And I think what one of the problems I'm having is I make too much and put it in the refrigerator and it goes bad. So I gotta figure that out because I've got two great big containers full of food, rice and turkey and all that kind of stuff. And by the time I get to the back one, um, she starts to turn her nose up a little bit, doesn't eat it. So I don't know. Maybe I should freeze one of them. I don't know. I'll figure it out. Oh, hey, how's everybody doing? Freeze it? Yes? Okay. Because then I could always take it out and just let it thaw out, or would I just heat it up a little bit? I don't know. Yeah, because I got one container is about this big around that I've got all the food in. And then I've got two of those. One of them is in the back of the refrigerator, and the other one sits in the front. And I grab the front one and then spoon out what I need each time I feed her. And so I'm finding that maybe that's a little bit too much um, in the refrigerator, sitting too long. Here comes Mark.
Hi, Paul.
Hey, how you doing, Mark?
Not too bad. Bit cold.
So what I'll probably do, Brenda, is take the one backup one and go out and put it in my freezer out in my office. I got a big freezer. Um, put it in there and then I can just pull it out. When I pull it out, just let it thaw, or do I heat it, or what do I do?
You always let it thaw out before you cook it.
Well, no, what I'm talking about, Mark, is I make up a round of food that gets put with her kibble.
All
It's
right.
it's rice, ham. This case it was turkey because I had turkey, and I boil it, boil it, and then um, put the rice in and let it sit until it does its thing, and then I put it in these big containers. And what I found is by the time I get through the second big container, she's pretty much turning her nose up at it and doesn't want it.
Yeah, it's starting to go off.
Yes.
Yeah, because rice does go off.
So what I need to do is what Brenda's saying is I should take the second container, freeze it, and then go to that as the backup, when I need it.
Yeah, well, you'll have to be able to thaw it out to make it so that you can serve it up to her anyway.
Right.
And you shouldn't really reheat it.
Hi, baby.
And Dusty, it's not as easy as just turning a VPN on, dude. You got to like re-register a new account in another country. It's a big pain in the ass. I did it last night.
Hey, Justin,
So
Dusty, Brian, Brenda.
because your account that you're using on TikTok is registered in the US. So even if you turn a VPN on, it's not going to allow you to access that account.
Joe. Russell.
Yeah, not much going on out there on the lakes.
Your account's still there, though. They didn't delete your account. I've seen a bunch of people's accounts that are still there.
I thought Trump was talking about giving it a reprieve for a while he reads through the bill to make sure.
Nope, Trump can't do anything. The only thing Trump can do is allow a 90-day extension on the sale of it. But if it wants to be unbanned, it has to go back through Congress again.
All right.
Like if it was just an executive order that was signed, yeah, he could overturn an executive order. But it's already been passed through the Senate, Congress, and Biden signed it after it got passed. So there's nothing he can do except for try to talk Congress into overturning it.
Well, Detroit
Let's see.
made a bit of a mess of it yesterday.
Oh yeah, that was a terrible game. The other team played really well, and the Lions kind of played so, you know.
Yeah. I think like 4 interceptions didn't help, especially with one of them being in the end zone itself.
Yes. Yeah, four times he turned the ball over. But then that's typical of Jared Goff. Everybody loves Jared Goff, and he's not a bad player, but he's not the superstar everybody claims he is.
Yeah.
No.
That's right, Precious.
What ain't precious? You tell him, precious.
And apparently they banned TikTok in Canada last night too. People are getting the same message in Canada on their phones that we were getting.
Yeah.
I thought it wasn't supposed to be until Monday. No, it is today, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sunday.
Yeah, today. Yeah.
Apparently
How
Canada
these things
also
do
took-
happen.
Mhm.
I don't know. How do you guys feel about all the bullshit that's going on the on online? These ads popping up, pop up, and I don't know how you get rid of them. They just keep popping up.
What ads?
Yeah. What apart from YouTube throwing in ads now,
I don't get ads on my browser.
If I go over on to, like, let's see, I'm on YouTube right now. All of a sudden, it'll pop up a screen that wants to sell me upgraded cable vision. And I already have their friggin' cable vision. Leave me the fuck alone, you know?
You can get a pop-up blocker, can't you?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
well,
pretty standard these days. I don't know why he wouldn't have one on his computer already.
Yeah.
yeah, kind of, his browser would definitely have one. Because the Valley will come standard with most browsers, except IE.
Yeah, because the way he's describing it, it sounds like his computer's back in the 90s.
Yeah, yeah. So I haven't seen a pop-up advert for so many years. It's not funny. Um, but yeah, I definitely having a fight with YouTube.
You know, the guy that actually made up pop-up ads, he actually apologized years later and said it was like the worst thing ever. He didn't mean for it to like be what it was. He was just trying to make it easier for companies to advertise. It turned out to be just a big clusterfuck of ads.
All right.
Precious is having a good time.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Don't know what's up with her.
Yeah, Dusty, but Trump don't have no recourse to stop that. All he's going to do is extend the sale date 90 days. That's all he can do. TikTok, give TikTok another 90 days to decide whether they want to sell their portion in the U.S. Right, but everybody's misunderstanding the news when they're explaining it, and they think that he can just step in and be like, no. Now he can tell the federal government, ignore it, don't enforce it, and they can turn a blind eye, but the insurance companies for Google and Apple and stuff already told them that because it's a federal ban, they're not going to insure them if they put the app back on the App Store. So all their lawyers are telling them it don't matter if Trump says to turn a blind eye. We don't want it there because it's a liability. It's technically you'll be breaking federal law. So ain't nothing. They're not going to put it back on there. If their lawyer teams are telling them, hell no, don't do it, they're not going to do it. They'd rather just not have to be liable later on.
Yes, I think one could say that TikTok for the US, if you haven't got a VPN, is bye, gone.
Well, like I was telling Dusty, you can't. It's not even as simple as just turning the VPN on. I had to re-register an account in Australia just to be able to get back on it.
You used Australia?
And I started an email out of Australia too, because if your account's registered in the U.S., it will automatically block it, even if you use a VPN, it still blocks it. I tried 3 different VPNs, and every one of them was giving me the same error.
Yeah.
But as soon as I re-registered an account in another country where it wasn't banned, it popped right up.
I'm
I was
just
surprised.
disgusted.
I was surprised Canada blocked it like yesterday too.
What?
A bunch of people from Canada were posting videos on YouTube about how they were getting the same message. And then all the comment sections were hilarious, talking about, I guess the 51st state fell in line. It's like, oh, Jesus.
Yeah, will be interesting. See how many other countries actually follow suit in the next few months. Whether others will do so. Here it's not the TikTok app's not allowed on any government computers.
That's how it started here.
Yeah, so I think it's only a matter of time before they go ahead and say ban TikTok altogether. Which yeah, that I mean you'll have to go ahead and have a VPN that comes out in China and register itself as a Chinese person.
But that's the thing is at that point though, I don't think TikTok's going to be. It's not going to be viable for most people anymore because you're going to be watching a bunch of people in Chinese. Their content's going to be in Chinese, so you're not going to understand half of it. And 2, there's not going to be any money for anybody outside of China to be made on it. So
Yeah.
Their content creators aren't going to want to fuck with it. They're not going to go through all that hassle to start up an account. I just don't see it being a thing. And I like you said, I wouldn't be surprised if other countries don't follow suit pretty soon. So
Yeah. Well, the fact that you've registered here in Australia, don't hold your breath. Because yeah, it's one of those things it's been talked about over here, but it hasn't been nothing's happened yet. But now that the US have gone ahead, have banned it, they're possibly going to follow suit at some point in time coming up.
yeah, and some other countries have a lot easier time banning things because they don't have to go through as many legal, hoops to get something banned. There's some countries that could just ban it overnight, that quick. Just be like, oh, we're
Yeah.
done. And that's it.
No, and knowing that our government's actually having fights with Twitter and Facebook, just to name two of the companies, over their content control. And I believe uh, they gave YouTube a warning, and YouTube actually follow. That it was after that all the gun stuff cut in that they actually were very, very careful in showing guns and stuff like that. Um, there was a shooting in New Zealand that fairly well got that all up and going, and our government actually gave them a warning that if they didn't control that content going out, that they would look at banning them from actually having live streaming available here in Australia. So
Oh, they're strict over here about that too. Like you can't show guns on
yeah,
live streams. Now you can make videos about your guns like Adrian does. But if you show a gun on a live stream and they catch you and the algorithm catches it, yeah, they'll knock you off they'll ban you for like they did with Bill and all them. They'll give you a
yeah.
1 week ban the first time.
Well, what it is the case that um, you may have heard of the shootings in New Zealand at the mosques there, where a person actually went crazy going mosque to mosque, and he was live streaming it. Um, so the police could actually see him doing the crime. They just couldn't keep up with him. Uh, and that all went out on both Facebook and YouTube. And it took a number of days for those videos to be actually taken down by the actual platforms. So it wasn't the case that the government approached them and they immediately took them down. It took literally days of fighting both YouTube and Facebook to actually get them to take those videos down.
Which is funny because I've posted like body cam footage before on my Facebook and they kicked it off almost immediately.
Yeah,
And this was years ago too,
Well,
where like it showed a
Zuckerberg,
cop shooting somebody and they took it down almost within an hour after me posting it.
yeah. No, they had there was a big fight in regard to that after that event, and of course YouTube came in line and made sure that it couldn't happen, because obviously the last thing YouTube wants is to lose their live streaming content um, for a country.
well, didn't Zuckerberg fire a load of his fact finders the other week?
He got rid of all of that. He's
Yeah.
going to a community note system like Twitter's using. So people can actually have a discussion on like religion or politics without any side getting banned. You can is pretty much the direction they're going. Like I said, I kind of feel like Zuckerberg has done an actual 180. I don't think that he's doing this just because Trump's coming into office, like a lot of people said, because the thing is like, if you go back and like when Dana White was talking about, apparently Zuckerberg's been hanging out with the UFC and Dana White for like the last year or so. And he's been learning like Taekwondo and all that stuff. Well, everybody knows that Dana White is a big advocate for like open forums and free speech. And he even put Dana White on his meta board now. He's on his board to be that voice for that in his company. And I think
I've
that
got-
Dana White had an influence on him, I think, is what happened.
Yeah, I've got no problems with free speech as long as it's factual free speech. It's based on fact, not stuff that people have made up that's in their little head. That it's like the 5G causing COVID thing during COVID. That was absolutely ridiculous. It wasn't based on any fact. It was just some tinfoil hat person who actually got listened to because nobody knew much about viruses.
I really think Dana White just had a really big influence on him, and that kind of pushed him to.
I'm sorry, Mark. If you say you have no
one
problems
of
with free speech, that should be the end of the thing. The second you make a qualification, then you have a problem.
That's not Mark. That's Trevor.
Oh, that was Trevor. Okay. I'm on my earbuds and it's in the other room,
Hey, Donald.
so it's kind of okay. So, Trevor, if you say you have no problems with free speech, that should be the end of the sentence. The second you make a qualification on it, then yes, you do.
Yeah, but there's a difference between free speech and people going ahead and making up absolute crap just to be heard.
No,
Because
no, there's no difference.
Because that's where a lot of stuff has come out that
The only
you look on Facebook and you say, well, that's definitely untrue.
Yeah.
I saw an ad that was up that Facebook actually backed quite nicely, that went ahead and said that they've come up with the full solution for cancer. Take this medication.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, okay. There are things. There are a couple restrictions: fraud, libel. There are laws against that. There open threats, calls to violence. That, but saying something that's not true. I can go out and say the sky is striped and polka dotted.
Yes, and we'd actually think you've actually lost your bananas, but
But
well,
in reality, it's up to the people reading it to have some fucking sense on their head too.
I should be able to
Yeah,
say
and
that I can say that Elon Musk is a lizard person. That's free speech.
Yeah. But
It's not true.
the big problem is that there's too many people out there that haven't got enough brains to go and actually fact check.
But that's up to them at the end of the day. If they believe
We-
that and they
So you cannot shape society around the stupidest people in society.
Well, you go ahead and call the group of people they put together for this focus group that I attended. Where they showed us a whole heap of videos and which ones are fake, which ones aren't. But believe you me, I actually picked every one of them. But literally, it was a case that there was a lot of people there that just couldn't tell the fake from the original.
Okay.
Even if because the content was so far off, even if the content was so far unbelievable, it wasn't funny. They just couldn't pick it. So if you get a group of people together that are picked randomly from your town and actually
Uh-huh. Oh, I
like-
agree 100% with what you're saying. I agree 100% with what you're saying. But you're not for free speech if you're for censorship. You cannot say I'm for free speech, and start saying you can't put things out that are obviously not true. You're not for free speech then. So you can't say you are for one thing and then make the argument you're making. You're not making an argument for free speech.
So we could go ahead and say that Don comes from another planet, and that's allowed.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Okay.
That's free speech.
By the way, can you help me out? Which planet do you think you'd like to come from?
Uranus.
Okay. Yep. All right. That's noted down. We'll get that news flashed out later.
See, that's all free speech. The second you start restricting speech, you start restricting the way people can think, because speech is thought made real. And I'm not into thought police. If you say you cannot say things that are false or whatever, I would start second guessing everything I said. I would start trying to restrict, and it would confine my thinking.
Right.
Well, that's literally what Facebook's doing, and that's what Twitter did. You know, they kind of got rid of all that. Just all right, we're going to ban somebody because we don't like what they said,
Right.
or it might have been misinformation. But like I said, at the end of the day, I think it's up to the person reading it to figure out whether it's misinformation. If they're just going to automatically believe what they're reading,
The
then that's
answer to
their
bad
stupidity.
information, and you can label it however you want, but the answer to bad information is not silencing it, is not stifling it, is not banning it. This answer to bad information is more information, good information.
Or debating it. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
debating provides more information.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. When you look at elections and stuff like that, how many have been overturned because of the amount of crap that's actually gone out against an opposition or whatever, against a party.
Not just that. How many have been decided incorrectly because information was stifled? That speech was banned. I would argue that there are far more elections that were decided unjustly because of the stifling of any opposition speech.
I mean,
But
yeah, we saw that a lot over here.
Opposition speech that's actually backed. Yeah, by all means. But when you actually got opposition,
Who decides at that point? Who decides what is fact?
Well, it should
Usually,
be
the people in
basically-
power are the ones who get to decide what is fact. So if you don't have absolute free speech, the people in power can say that is not fact, therefore it is not allowed to be said. Anything against me is not fact. I mean, you think Pol Pot allowed speech that was against him because it was factual? No, he said that's not factual. Anyone who says that gets shot.
Well, I mean, that's kind of what Facebook was doing there for a while, virtually, you know.
Yeah,
They
if you say
were
something that is
showing-
against the orthodoxy, you get banned.
Well, why not just make it that if a comment comes up that is in Facebook's eyes is not based on fact, that they actually go ahead and market that this
That's
thing
what-
might contain
Well, that's the thing. That's
information.
what community notes are. Community notes are not from Facebook or from TikTok. community or from Twitter or X, whatever it's called now. Community notes is where the opposing view says, okay, here's what that's not true, and here's the evidence that we say that's not true. It does not delete the post, it provides more information. Whereas actually banning bad speech gets rid of
Or what-
anything.
or what you
The
perceive
community
as
notes
bad speech.
leaves the original comment up, and then it puts more context or more evidence up to what the truth is and lets people decide for themselves. It doesn't ban the so-called bad speech.
Which I think is a more healthy thing for society to be able to
Yeah,
discuss
because
topics versus
the answer to
banning
bad speech is not banning it or restricting it, it's providing more speech. It's providing more conversation, more evidence.
Well, and that's why I was saying, like, after watching the whole interview with Zuckerberg on Rogan, he did seem very genuine. And I know a
Well,
lot
he
of people
started
don't
eating.
trust
He
him.
started eating a lot more meat. He started behaving like hanging out, UFC, actually
Right.
physical activity, doing manly things.
And I think Dana White had a big influence on him, I think, at the end of the day, because he does nothing but talk up Dana White now everywhere he goes. And I think Dana White had a good influence on him. And like I said, he even added him to his meta board. So
Mhm.
he's right at the tippy top of Facebook now. And that's why I said a lot of people are saying, oh, he's only doing it trying to jump on the Trump bandwagon. Of course, I think that had some to do with it, of him now coming out and saying, this is what we're going to do, because he feels like he's not going to get attacked by the government.
Well,
But like I said, I think Dana and a lot of those guys from the UFC had a huge influence on him over the past year. And he's listened to him and he realizes, hey, maybe we weren't doing such a good thing after all. So I'm gonna give him a chance. Like I said, I'll give Zuckerberg a chance, see what he does the next couple of years, and see if he's being genuine or not. I mean, he came off as being very genuine in that interview. Just
mhm.
my opinion on it. And he did a really good breakdown on how the algorithm works as far as banning things, which was very interesting. He did a really good breakdown of that. Yeah, trust is hard to get. I mean, that's what I'm saying, Dusty. A lot of people don't trust him because of all the years of extreme censorship and all that Facebook was doing. Which kind of at the end of the day, I guess is their right, because they're not really a government agency. So does free speech under the Constitution really fall under that? I would
No.
probably say no. But they were also under a different law that was saying they weren't publishers neither, but they were acting as publishers.
Mhm.
So that's another thing as well.
So, Don, how cold is it in your neck of the woods today?
I can see. It feels like around 17.
13 Fahrenheit.
Yeah.
Okay, just 2 ticks for half a hair. I'm just doing some conversion here. We're currently sitting at we're currently sitting at 68, and remember, it's 1:10 in the morning. So,
It is 75 here right now.
and we're heading for 39 centigrade later. Give me 2 ticks. I'm just
We're
doing
at
the conversion
24 now.
so which will be 102.2 later today.
It's pretty warm.
Yeah, just a tad warm. So yeah, we had a 35-degree day today, which is just below the ton. And it looks like we're going over the ton tomorrow in your measurement.
Yeah, it's only 24 degrees Celsius here.
Hmm. And during daylight hours, it's the fact that the temperature the last 4 or 5 days hasn't dropped below 20 degrees centigrade, which it's just not getting like it's not getting cool. It's not cooling stuff off, and um, it's fatigue type weather.
Okay. Now, I was upstairs with my earbuds, so I wasn't near the computer to actually
Yeah.
check the temperature. I had just stepped outside and just estimated, see what the Weather Channel actually says it is. 13 degrees outside right now.
Right. Well,
Oh, yeah, it's
It's a little cooler than
lot
I thought
cold-
it was.
lot colder than here.
yes.
Now, that's
That's
Celsius?
now that's only no, uh, if it's in Fahrenheit, that's minus 10 degrees Celsius.
Mhm.
Hmm. Yes, if you go outside for too long, you might just turn a bit stiff. Um,
Yeah, the problem about weather this cold is when I go outside for too long, it makes me feel like I gotta pee,
Oh, I hate that.
but it shrivels it up so much I can't get a hold of it.
yes, no, yeah, minus 10 degrees. We don't see that here. Um, in my neck of the woods. Um, that's so you technically have the both extremes, as to put it. We don't even get minus 10 on the worst day here. We'd be lucky if we get 0 degrees centigrade, which is on 32 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yep.
Yeah, we don't get below freezing very often. Like that happens like once every couple of years. Normally we're
Yeah.
like high 30s is about the lowest we get, at least in my area.
Yeah, no, so yeah, if you put a glass of water outside, Don, it'll be frozen in a few hours.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not uh like up north where they'll get the negative temperatures Fahrenheit and they'll go out and throw a thing of water in the air and it freezes.
Yeah, yeah, but still minus 10. I think it's minus 7 that the most fridges work at, keeping for freezing food. It's minus 7. So yeah, you'll definitely freeze water. Yeah, so I think the next ban they should have in the US, including the UK, is the Fortnite server ban.
Yeah, right. That's an American company.
Bugger.
Oh, apparently CapCut got banned last night too.
Oh,
'Cause I think they have some kind of involvement with TikTok, like they're connected.
I
with
think so. I
TikTok.
think they were tied into the same company.
Yeah, they got banned last night as well. I'll have to find another editing program. I'll probably just use Clipchamp on the PC. 'Cause I have that from Microsoft. It's a pretty decent little editor. It's better than Movie Maker.
oh, anything's better than Movie Maker. Like,
I was
I
gonna
actually
say
have.
download
Okay.
DaVinci, but I've seen the type of videos that you put up, and so you're probably beyond you, Justin.
I'm not into editing, so you're exactly 100% right about that. I hate editing.
yeah, well, I ended up going to DaVinci because some of the basics that I wanted to be able to do in video couldn't be done with Movie Maker or anything like that. And I ended up getting so frustrated with Movie Maker. Just trying to put two videos together just didn't seem to work properly in Movie Maker.
I'd
Yeah,
say
I've been up.
DaVinci, people, it's really complex, and I've opened it and I've played with it a bit. I still use because for work I've got the Adobe suite, but DaVinci for what most people do when they're editing, they can go into cut room and they can cut. They don't have to. They might have to dabble a little bit in the edit room and then go to your export.
Yeah,
And then as you get comfortable with that, you can branch out to those stuff. But the cut room is simple as hell. Actually, you can get probably 80% of your work done in the cut room and the export
but
for most videos.
like the little bit of time it took me to actually learn it, which that's going to come with near enough to any product. It's actually paid itself off as being the easier way of doing things. It's like a CAD program. I've got a hobbyist license on that kind of gets very, very complex. But at the end of the day, to try and actually do the same, get the same results on some of these smaller ones that are
like the Tinkercad and stuff like that.
yeah, those types of things. You just can't get the results. So I ended up
95% of the time you can, but that 5% is what screws you.
yeah. Oh no, there's Captain Joe. Now, what are you going to advise Paul to buy this tonight?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Well, buy those portable space heater.
Portable
Because if we
space
lose power,
heater.
I want to make sure I got something I can plug in to heat up this place.
If you lose power,
We got an ice storm coming through. Snow is going to be snowing and everything. They're projecting up to 6 inches of snow here.
I have a clean burning space heater for the garage here that I've used a couple times. I might be busting it out again soon.
Well, we got Home Depot's got a little 1,500-watt electric fan, forced portable heater. Got a little. I'm thinking I just need something to blow on me, you know.
The only problem is if the power goes out, aren't you still going to have a problem in running that?
I got the DJI Power 1000. I could hook it up there.
Yeah, just that.
I have a couple of power units I could do it with.
Yeah, just watch your wattage.
Mine for the
it's good. That's good for that.
Mine for the here is it. Here.
Yeah, what I'm looking for though is I have
mine for the garage
Ryobi
is just a little portable kerosene
nice.
heater for the garage.
I have a Ryobi battery system that works with like a fan and everything else. but they don't have a heater that goes with it. I guess it's got to be something to do with the wattage.
Yeah, the big problem with heaters is they're all up around about the 2000 2400 watts to get out heat, and
Yeah.
they well and truly suck the energy.
Yeah,
Well,
this is 1500 watt. I don't think I'm gonna lose electricity because we've had it here before, just as bad. I've never lost electricity. If it comes down to it, shoot, if we lose electricity, I worry about getting my refrigerator. Actually, I wouldn't even worry about the refrigerator if it's gonna be cold in it because they got about 24 to 48 hours. And I'm on the grid with the hospital, so they're gonna reroute me quick. Because that's what they do. I mean, I've been out of power. The longest I've ever been out of power here is like 27 hours, and that was during Hurricane Ida a few years ago. And it was a lot of places down, but they rerouted the electricity here quick.
Yeah, no, I've actually got a Tesla Powerwall on my outside wall and some solar panels, and that actually through the daytime, the solar panels by themselves are enough to actually run this place and to recharge the battery. And during the summer months, I've actually got enough battery power to get from sunset to sunrise without pulling from street power. So I'm fairly lucky that this place can actually it's been power outage proofed in a sense.
All right.
So if the power goes out to the street, I'm sitting laughing at everyone else. My next door neighbours come and knock on my door to find out why my lights are still on and theirs is out.
Well, I guess I got a repair job.
Oh,
Just
what do you have
popped
to
up
fix
in the
now?
garage. The switch on my workbench light. I just found it on the floor, so I've knocked off somehow. I think I can probably build something up with some epoxy.
Hmm.
Yeah, okay. Well, crap.
How'd your box turn out?
I showed pictures of where I'm at the other day. I'm not done with it yet. It's
He's
just
still working
we're-
on it.
Ah, okay.
today I think I'm gonna go over, borrow my dad's table saw and cut some of the plywood into strips to make the backstop so when the lid comes down, it has something to rest on the edges. And then those,
All right.
flip the box over, epoxy those in place. And that way I've got stops for the lid. Then I got to figure out how much gap I need in the lids so they open and close easily. And I'm going to be putting some rubber, I don't know, you call them fairing strips or something along the outside of it. So I need room for that too.
You get your rivet gun yet?
Nope. I don't really need the rivet gun until the box is ready to set in there permanent. So that'll be
Go raid
close
your-
to the carpeting stage.
Go raid your dad's garage. He's probably got one.
He might have one. He's got everything.
Yeah, that's the famous saying in the world is why buy something when you can borrow somebody else's?
Well, there's a couple. I have access to a couple I could find, but all right, let's see. Okay, I need to move you out of the way. Find a home for sleds. I hate coming downstairs to work on a project and finding another project that's probably more important.
This is a 1,500 watt electric fan force portable heater, but it's got a 300, 600, and 1,500 watt setting. Well, I may just, it's like $20. I might just go get it in case I need it. You know,
Where is it at, Joe?
it's right at Home Depot.
Oh,
Yeah, I probably don't need anything more than that because, like I said, I don't think I'm gonna lose electricity. I can always bring it back, you know.
Or does it go that way?
Well, actually, it's with tax and everything because of my discount because of the military. It's like not even $20.
wow.
Might just stick it in the back, and it might be something I could throw in the car when I'm somewhere else. If I'm going somewhere and I know it might get cool, you know.
Yeah.
I'll have not only a fan, but I'll have a converter too. Something.
That ain't even worth
well,
taking back
well,
for less than $20. You might as well keep it.
That's what I'm thinking, you know. I'm just probably gonna keep it, you know.
You're gonna spend $20 coming and going, just messing with it.
No, that's why I live where I live. Everything's within a 2 to 3 mile radius.
Oh, okay.
That's why I don't move.
Yeah,
It's just so
yeah, but
convenient.
if it was like $100 portable heater or something, I'd say maybe I'd take it back. But for $20, you know,
Oh.
keep the damn thing.
Yeah, it's like the flip. I sent it back yesterday.
Yeah, right. Speaking of flips, I got up early and I went and checked the air quality and everything was fine right at dawn, and there was no wind. And I thought, gosh, should I go down and fly the flip down by the bridge? And I didn't do it. And then the wind came up. So
Yeah.
Yeah, Philip, I don't
I
know
would
if that
fly
heater
it
would be
in your
good in his
backyard
house.
for a while first. Yeah, fly that sucker in your backyard till you're absolutely sure about it.
well, the sad part about it is, Joe, is that I ordered extra batteries for it,
Let me
and
see it.
they're out of
Yeah.
stock.
You got it, Paul? Let me see it.
Yeah, hang on.
How are they
Is
out
it
of stock?
what's the wind rating on those?
31 miles an hour.
Oh, that's not bad. About the same as the Mini.
Yeah, Jake Sloan had it in 35 mile an hour winds in Alaska. That sucker steady.
That's some pretty
there
big
it is. There it
props
is,
on it.
Justin.
Yeah, that's some pretty big props. That's bigger than the Mini props, ain't it?
Yeah. Yeah, they're saying that is what was that first one? The Spark on steroids.
When you open it up, there it is.
That's so weird looking
when
when
it-
it's folded.
And when he opens the next two, it turns
When I
on.
open up the back, it starts up.
That's so weird. Like when it's folded, it looks weird as shit.
Now, let me ask you a
Yeah.
question. When you open it up, if you leave the gimbal cover on, is that affecting the gimbal?
No,
Because
And
the
when he
gimbal
opens
should be moving around.
when he opens it up, it looks like Mars riding on his blooming unicycle.
Yeah, it
I don't
does.
think I'd open it up till I took the gimbal cover off.
Yeah,
Well,
that's,
no. Now close it and open it with the gimbal cover off. See what it does.
Yeah, you got to do the back first.
You have to open it with the gimbal cover off. If you open it with the gimbal cover on and it starts up, it starts doing calibration on the gimbal, and if the cover's on, you get an error.
You see, that's what I'm thinking. Now let it turn off and then do it again. See if the gimbal moves.
XYZ said Adam Savage's tested released a new
Because I know
video.
if I do it with other ones, it'd mess it up.
All right, now it's off.
Yeah.
want me to start it up again?
Yeah,
Yeah.
open the front first. You got to open the front first.
Open.
And then see what it does when you turn
Yeah,
it on.
just leave it there and we'll see if the gimbal moves. Yep.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, you
It
want to make
does
sure the
move.
gimbal covers
So
off.
make sure you take that cover off first. Flip saying, he keeps turning me on and off. I don't think he knows what he's doing.
Yeah, that thing does look weird as shit though when it's folded up.
Well,
Yeah.
it makes it more compact. And you know, the only reason I bought it is because Joe told me to.
Here
So,
we go.
Uh,
Yeah, you believe that, right?
It might make it more compact, but its footprint when it's folded up is still bigger than the Mini 3 and the Mini 4.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
kind
long,
of a
it's
weird
flatter
design.
though. It's only 2.5 inches.
I just
Because the
I just
reason I
don't like
sent
the
mine
look of
back, it
it.
didn't fit in my bag. I was gonna put it in.
what'd you say,
The reason I
Al?
sent it back, it was basically because of the bag it didn't fit in.
I just said I just don't like the look of it, but I also didn't like the look of foldable drones when they first came out. So
But and also the what's it that front obstacle avoidance on it is only
In the front.
infrared. It's
Yeah,
not
infrared.
LiDAR and it's not visual, so it has problems.
You know, Mark, I'm hearing two different things though. Because I'm hearing that it's
Oh,
infrared,
Russell.
but I'm also LiDAR assisted
Hey, Joe, read what
infrared.
Russell put in the chat.
Well, that's important, Mark, if you're gonna be running through the woods and under trees and
Yeah.
like Joe flies. I don't have any of that going on.
Hey, Paul,
No,
make me a
you-
host. I got somebody on a
You've
panel. I
just
need a
got-
boot.
You've just got the bridge,
I need a
Paul.
boot.
You've got that bridge to contend with.
You could do it through the bridge right there, Paul.
Yeah, but it's 500 feet in the air. So I can fly under it, around it, or whatever.
I don't see a
You go
problem.
400 above it.
I mean, if it's got the same wind rating pretty much as the Mini,
Yeah, it
should be
does.
flying down there, even if you got a little bit of wind.
It's
The
it-
Minis were
it's-
little
it-
beasts in the wind, man.
It's compact.
Yeah.
I tell you, the Mini
There
2,
goes the
man,
gimbal
that thing
again.
was, when I had the Mini 2, that thing was a little beast in the wind.
Somebody even did a video versus the Mini, and they were in windy conditions, and
Jake Sloan.
it did just fine. Who was it, Joe?
Sloan, Jake Sloan.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I saw that one because I wanted to see that. And he was showing that Mini, that actually a Mini 4 was it was a Mini 4 Pro he was using. And that Mini 4 Pro was getting knocked all around. That thing was stable.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, like I said, Paul, I was gonna keep it, but it didn't fit in my bag and it didn't have
Oh,
remote ID.
yeah. Yeah, right.
Hey, Joe. The heater I was talking about, I don't know if I can show it or not. Let's see. See it
yeah,
over
I
there?
don't think he can put that in his house, though, can
I got it out the garage. But you got a exhaust, diesel exhaust that goes out, and what I do is just
Yeah.
run it on out a little bit.
Yeah, I don't think they'd appreciate it in an apartment.
Oh, that's true. You got a point there.
Because I found a propane one and I got 2 propane tanks sitting over here that I use for like stoves. And I actually got to do something with them because they get in my apartment for about 5 years. I need to give them to somebody that's got a house. I need to put them in their garage. I get them out of my apartment. But I don't want to throw them in a dumpster. You know what I mean?
Is that one of those diesel heaters they make for the motorhomes?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good heater. I mean, it puts out about 220 degrees.
Mm.
Back in the day, my dad's garage, they used those ones that sat on the ground and they looked like big long cylinders and they sounded like jet engines when they were
Yeah.
turned on.
Yeah.
They were
Yeah.
diesel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I call those the ones that chase you out of there in about 10 minutes.
Yeah. But I look
Yeah,
at it this
they
way:
said-
we lose power. I don't think I'll lose it for long. And I got sweatpants and a sweatshirt and everything else. And the dogs have their own fur coat, so they'll be good.
Torpedo heater. That's what they're called.
Yeah.
But they give you the smell of diesel all day long.
Oh, they used to use them. They had 2 of them in the garage, but they had the big bay doors open all day, so it just kind of kept it
Got the chill
They
out.
usually just, yeah, they had it aimed towards wherever they were working at the time.
Yeah. You can't use those in a confined space. Because they'll suck up all the air.
Is that what happened to me years ago?
Well, yeah, everybody that I know that uses the propane heater in the house cracks a window, you know?
Yeah, you've got to do something. You've got to have that airflow into the home, so you can get rid of the carbon monoxide
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
leaving.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's a big case.
No.
We've seen a lot of people that have perished due to they had an old kerosene heater and they put it on and the room was fully closed up, and subsequently the next morning they were dead.
Plus the fact that because they're live flames, they actually burn up all the oxygen in the room.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
And it's very well, it is what one would classify as a silent killer, because people go to bed, leave them on, and subsequently they're already asleep, and the body doesn't wake them to tell them that they're having trouble getting enough oxygen. They just go into a deeper sleep,
yeah. Yeah, the
never to
brain,
wake up again.
the brain's a powerful thing, and
Yeah.
it will actually slow that brain down to the point where it says, okay, I guess I'll go to sleep.
No, there was a number of cases of that. That's why I don't think I have actually seen a kerosene heater here in this country for years. They
Cool.
I used to work for a service station site back when I was actually needing to rake in the cash to get a qualification. And that actually had a kerosene pump, and you got people that came to get kerosene for their kerosene heaters. But since the early 80s, kerosene heaters have just literally gone by the wayside. People don't have them anymore.
You'll still see kerosene at some gas stations. They'll have a little tank
Yeah.
that you can buy kerosene at.
I haven't seen a kerosene pump at a service station for I think it was 1985 would probably be the last mark the last one that I actually saw. And like all of our petrol stations, as we call them, actually have all gone to those diesel, and then you get different types of petrol, and you just pick up the appropriate hose.
Yeah. Now they
There's
sell
actually,
at the Home Depot. They sell the kerosene, I believe. in
Yeah.
cans.
Yeah,
they
you can
still
buy.
have. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, you can still buy the kerosene. You just got to go and get it from a hardware store. Buy it in the appropriate size. Because kerosene's still a cleaner. Yeah, for a lot of purposes.
Philip, what do you run that diesel heater on?
My little 400 500 watt power pack, 12 it runs 12 volts. It only pulls probably the start off pulls about 110 watts, and then it lowers itself back down to about 45 watts.
Yeah.
But I thought the fact that it was a diesel heater meant it ran on diesel.
Yes, it burns diesel, but it's got to
burns.
still run a fan.
Well, that are you using normal diesel for it?
Yes. I just go to the gas station and get diesel for it.
Well, it actually runs on kerosene as well.
True.
Yeah,
True.
probably does.
It'll actually run on
And it's about half the price of diesel.
it'll run on used oil, but that's against the law.
Yeah. Yeah, but kerosene's a lot cheaper than diesel.
But does it burn as efficiently and as hot as diesel?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's,
Okay.
yeah, I'm wondering that too.
Sometimes that's a trade-off when you can get like a cheaper fuel. It might
Well,
not be as
people
efficient.
with motorhomes use kerosene on it.
Yeah.
Actually,
Well,
a lot of our gas stations sell actually have aviation fuel as well, because there's so
Well,
many people that have
Aviation
puddle
fuel.
jumpers.
yeah.
Well, what I'm saying is they have they're like a lot of our gas stations will have a kerosene tank, and then they'll have aviation fuel, because there's a lot of people that have little like puddle jumper planes that they land in the lakes. And so they have their own little private dock that they dock their plane at. And so they can go to the store, a gas station, and actually buy aviation fuel for their plane, because obviously they're not near an airport or anything.
Yeah.
Mhm.
No, there's a if you've got the kind get to which is a highly refined version of the kerosene, with a few additives, that mixed with old sump oil, you'd probably be able to run that through a diesel with no problems. And that's one of the alternatives for diesel. We go ahead and utilize it when we're actually running airport exercises and got to have a fire. We get a certain amount of jet fuel and some old oil, and put that in half-cut 44-gallon drums that they simulate the engine that was on fire and other bits and pieces, and we throw out. We've got some old wings that we dump out appropriately, so the scene looks just right. But the mix of jet fuel and oil will burn for hours, and it doesn't go out with the first hit of the fire. It's with the first hit of the fire hose. It takes a bit of getting out once it's up and going.
And it smokes a lot.
Oh yeah, very, very smoky.
Yeah.
But that's half the fun. You're going to have an exercise. You've got to have plenty of smoke.
Yeah.
That way the firefighters have got a bit of a challenge on their hands.
Where's there smoke, there's fire.
Oh yeah.
Well, the guy that was running it off of used oil, he'd have two tanks. One of them was the diesel, and then
Yeah.
the used oil. And then what he'd have to do is start it out with diesel, and then convert it, and then to change it over to the used oil, because it will not start. It has a tough time starting up with used oil.
Yeah, like oil's very contrary to popular belief, oil is very, very hard to actually get to light. You've actually got to get it very hot.
Yeah.
It's like diesel. If you pour out some diesel on the ground and then light a match and chuck it in there, the match is just going to go out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got to be well and truly hot.
You can do the same thing with gasoline. If it's an open bucket, you don't have a concentrated enough fumes.
Yeah. If you don't, if you know.
Yeah. The problem is if you're going to do it with gasoline, it becomes very unsafe to do.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. You can do it, and usually it will work.
Yeah, but the problem is once you actually add gasoline to something like that, it's hit and miss as to whether you're going to light it and get away from it quick enough.
Yeah,
That's
gasoline's not gonna blow up unless it's vapor.
What's
That's
that?
why I
Just
love that's why I love the movies when you see them, they flick the cigarette into the gasoline. It's like, that doesn't actually
Yeah, that
happen.
work.
It has to actually spark the cigarette.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which
yeah.
that doesn't happen very often with cigarettes. It's actually kind of rare
Well,
for a cigarette to spark.
You get a little bit of a breeze, and amazing how many little embers will come off your cigarette. Um, like
No, but I'm talking
yeah,
about an actual spark off a cigarette. That's
yeah,
not something that happens all the time, though.
You know, back in the 80s, I worked at Chevron, and we'd have people come in and they'd have their cars running. And, you know, number one, it's a law to cut your car off. And
yeah,
Yeah.
I go out there and I say, you know, told this guy you need to shut your engine off. You're going to put gas in there. And he turned around and he said, there's no danger in this. And I said, well, it's not the danger in the gasoline. It's the danger in the fumes coming out of. I said, stand back and go down and look and see the fumes coming out of that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like, wow, I didn't realize there was so much fumes coming out. I said, yeah.
I like the gas stations that tell you can't use your cell phone while you're pumping gas. I find that
Yeah,
hilarious.
there's some of them that tell you turn your cell phone off. Yeah.
Well, you know,
and that came out because some of the old mobile phones,
bricks.
or cell phones as you call them, had a tendency of their vibrate control for when you got a phone call. It had a little thing that flickered inside, back and forth to actually give you the vibration, and that used to cause a very, very small spark inside your phone. So therefore, obviously, where there's a spark, there's the potential for fire. Now, phones have luckily come a long way, but you've still got the availability for static discharge. If somebody phones you, and with the digital technology these days, with the way your phone actually transmits, you could get a bit of a static electricity, and that will jump, and it doesn't take much.
Yeah.
That's why when you see an aircraft being refueled, you actually see them put a ground line onto the actual aircraft, and they'll ground it at the opening of the tank, as well as ground the whole vehicle, so that they can guarantee there's the potential for even the slightest little spark is literally
Yeah.
null and void. It just can't happen.
Well, I've
That's-
seen the tankers that come and fill up like the gas stations. They actually put a ground out too, you know?
yeah.
Yes. Yeah, that they're watching for that little spark of static electricity.
Yeah, that's one of the dangers I said was those automatic seatbelts in cars
Yeah.
at fueling stations where you pull up, people get out, open their door, and that going back and forth on that felt would build up a static charge. People would get
Yes.
in and out of their car and keep building that static charge. That's why they want you to stay, if you're out of your car to fill up your tank, don't be jumping back in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now that it's it only takes a very poor chance the chance of a little spark jumping to actually cause a big bang. And we had a service station back in '84 that literally that's how a fire started, and there was one fire that you could actually see for 20 kilometers away from where it was. The whole site went up, including the underground fuel storage, and that was all caused by a little bit of static electricity. So refueling your car, go ahead and don't argue with the people about turning things off and not using your mobile phone, because it's not worth the chance of you actually losing your vehicle, and actually blowing up the service station, and then your insurance company having to pay for the service station to be rebuilt. and plus the fuel that was underneath, and could run into quite an expensive bill. Especially if they proved that it was you actually going ahead and not following the rules, they'll hold you liable.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot of
Yep.
things that have been built into service stations these days. Like our pumps now have got the availability once the emergency stop is actually hit. There's valves at the pump itself that stop it from getting anything going down into the down to the tanks and stuff like that. So it literally cuts all the fuel off. And kind of get hit any of those emergency stop buttons that are on the service station site. It takes about 10 minutes for them to actually get everything back up and going again, because those valves have got to reopen again. And yeah, they voluntarily have they've improved things over the years, but there's still a lot of service stations out there that probably have got the got old pumps.
So don't wear
they
feety pajamas while you're pumping gas. Huh?
Yes, you don't go in your jammies. And look,
Nylon.
but put it this way: a couple of years ago, my eyes popped open when I actually saw this female get out of the car in her jammies to actually pump the juice out of servo, and this was a nice, really that she hadn't gone and got dressed to come down and actually fill up her car. No. She just came as she was. She'd got ready for bed in her frillies, and was got out and pumped juice. So yeah, it's not everyone is yes, this is a big one.
How did you repay my act of kindness? You caught me behind a bike shed with some burn. You would have told the headmaster. That was my sister. You always let personal feelings scream into it, didn't you?
Oh damn!
The place you dropped the microwave oven in the market. What did it look like? Oh, he's about average height.
Well, they thought they were gonna get gas.
Oh yeah,
Jesus.
they got the gas, all right. Yep. Mm.
They won't let me go back and cut it off. There it goes.
Yeah, the great one I've actually seen is somebody who actually had a caravan on the back that was a little bit higher than they thought it was, and they went under the thing and literally pulled the whole outside canopy down.
I seen one. It was a gas station across the street from where I was working at, and this lady was pumping gas, and this guy came in and hit the pump, and it started. The pop off valve didn't close up, and it started spewing up and everything. The lady just grabbed her thing and nozzle. And she still had it clicked on, and she just threw it down on the ground, and it was still spraying all over the place. She got in her car and left.
Hey, good morning, Lance.
Lance,
Yep, he's in the
Mr.
chat.
Arvada too.
Yep.
Lance, good morning. Well, early morning for you.
Good morning again, Lance. He was on Johnny's.
Hey, you learned something?
Well, I'm gonna go get busy. We gotta go over to.
Hey, Philip. Hey, thanks for stopping in.
You too, Paul. Thank you for stopping.
Lady shot.
Bye
Hey, Philip.
bye.
We're going over to mother-in-law's, start working back over there again. So y'all come back and see us. Y'all have a great morning.
Okay, Philip.
But
Bye, Philip.
Bye.
Oh, it's good though, it's good. Good for you and your family. We are looking
I almost sounded like I heard David, but I didn't.
between 15 and 50.
Mark's listening to something.
Mark's got TV on.
Only fools and horses.
Another crappy BBC program.
BBC.
It's on UK Gold.
Oh, of course, it's got to be British crap.
It's David Chase
Expected
and
delivery
Nick Flinders.
128.
Crap.
Yeah, see, the company that actually is very good at
But
destroying
we'll probably
TV
get there
shows.
sooner. Coming directly to you. My daughter found a way to make some money.
Well, you don't want the police to know about that, especially since your son's a cop.
No, it's legal. That's the funny part. She's got to have it from me because I used to be a decorator for Baskin Robbins. I used to do all the cakes and all the stuff. So she she decorated the cake the other day because the birthday is coming up. So she's practicing. And she's on a Mothers of Mandeville website or something like that. And she went on there, showed the cake, and people are asking her how much for cakes and they want to order from her. So she's already got 3 orders for this week.
Wow.
And she said she's going to make about $25 per cake.
I can
Operating
see,
without
I
a
can
food
see
license, I'm
business
reporting
Joe
it.
is going to be fronting for. It's going to be
Well,
it's called Joe's Bakery.
No, she calls me and she says, "Do you have any 8-inch cake pans?" I said, "I might." I went and looked. I said, I can't find a cake pan." I said, "Y'all must have them." Because all I have is I said, the last thing I made, only thing I don't make cake. The only thing I ever do is cobblers, and I do that in the glass dishes. I said, I can't find a cake pan anywhere. So I said, so forget that. And she said, yeah, I got to go get a hand mixer because one of the mixers that stands
Dan,
makes
yeah.
it easier. Right? And I told her, I said, yeah, I got a hand mixer. I don't even use that. And I went on QVC just now and found it's a basic one. It's an 8-speed basic one on clearance for $50. You know, it's a good brand and everything else. So and it's going to cost me $10 a month. So I have it going to our house. You don't even know it yet. So it'll show up to our house.
Yeah, and Joe tries to make himself to look like the bad guy.
I am the bad guy.
Right.
Yep.
No, well, I'll put it this way.
It's like the way he wants to toss the dogs out to the side of the curb.
The dog's got to go.
Right.
But my son, my police officer's son, let's put it this way. His account's Capital One. And Capital One had a whole problem this week. I think they got hacked. Where nobody was getting their money, couldn't get their money out the bank, anything. And he couldn't get paid. They were getting paid, but they weren't even showing their accounts. That's how bad it was. And I've heard it from a bunch of people. So I said, well, I wonder what's going on with him because he hasn't called me. My other son texted me and said, send him $100, please. I said, what are you talking about? He said, yeah, he can't get his money out the bank and he'll pay you back Sunday when he gets straight because they're saying it's going to be Sunday. And I said, I said, why don't you send him the $100? He says, all our money's tied up. What? And you see, Nick's the smart one. He gets his money and puts it into different funds, and he doesn't leave any cash for himself. They've got maybe $100 cash in the house, and everything else is on cards. It's smart and it's bad. I told him you need to at least put at least 1,000 in the house.
He needs to have an emergency fund. Yep.
Yeah, but his emergency funds are all in banks. He's got them. You know, he's got an emergency fund since he's been in the Marine Corps. I think it's like $18,000 right now. That's just emergency fund, not even a savings. But I said, yeah, I'll do it. So I asked Justin, I said, you want me to Zelle it or Venmo it? How you want it? And he says, well, I can get to the account, but I can't get the money I have in it out. I said, well, how am I Zelle it to you? Like that. He said, well, I'm at the bank like that. And I said, okay. So I Zelled it to him. He got it out as soon as it went in. And then this morning he sent me $300 back. So he paid me some money he owed me too. But I was the bad guy. He didn't want to ask me. He told Nick, I can't ask Dad. He said, because I haven't paid him back when I told him last time. But they don't realize, like Brittany, I told Brittany, I said, she says, I'm going to lose all my income tax money, the money I owe you. I said, no, I'm going to be fair. I said, you don't have a clue what I'm asking for. Because she owes me about $3,400 right now. And all I need right now back from her is $1,600. The $1,600 that's above the loan that she took to pay off the and then she got to pay off the loan or make the monthly payments on the loan. So it's easier. See, she don't have to give me that extra $1,200 back. She could just make the 142 payment every month. That's how nice I am.
Ah,
I just don't want to make the $142 payment. You know what I mean? And that other $1,600 was above the loan. That was out of my pocket. See, my thing is my credit. I get letters in all the time with checks. Sign this, and you only have to pay this. For 10 months, you're only paying $80 interest. And the interest, that's why I do it every once in a while. I might pay $80 interest on something, and if I pay it back in the first 90 days, they don't charge me interest. So I'll divert some money and then pay it off. I don't know how they keep sending them to me because they never make any money off of me. So they have released hostages. The first 3 were released today. Oh, it's ironic that it's the day before the inauguration.
Yeah, but they're not Americans released.
But it sounds like
It's because it's Israelis.
right, but they're releasing them. Wait, they're not finished. They're not finished. Sound like when Reagan came into office.
Oh, I'm appreciative that they got 3 hostages, but the point being is the damn bastards better let them all go, or else we'll blow them off.
Well, they're getting out. It's not going to be long. I tell you what, they better pay attention. It's like Justin says, they're going to F around and find out if they don't release them.
Yep.
Right, Justin?
Oh yeah.
He said, oh, hell's going to break loose if you don't release them. I'm telling you. And you can't tell me they haven't got it planned already, knowing what they're going to do.
Pluto TV.
And here comes Rod. What's up, Rod?
Hey, Rod.
Morning.
Morning, Ron.
Yeah, Joe, that's what I was thinking. Think back to Reagan.
Yep.
The Iranians do is their ass was grass.
You know, he's not gonna hit Hamas. He's gonna hit Iran. I guarantee you.
Hamas has been defanged, so is Hezbollah.
Yep.
The Israelis
You're
took
right.
the head. The Israelis took the head off and then took as much of the weapons off the playing field as they could.
You know what the best part was? When all the cell phones went off and started knocking them off,
Mhm.
and then the pages started doing it. You know, so they don't know what to answer. You know, they don't even want to open a refrigerator. They have no clue.
That is the most amazing thing on the planet is how the Israelis have so many people inside all of
Yep.
those orgs and know and freaking get intel of, oh yeah, this guy's gonna show up in this apartment today and then bomb it. So
Yeah,
it's pretty wild.
just pick them off one by one,
Mm-hmm.
and that's crazy.
I'm doing some redesigning this morning for my one drone that I put the 04 on.
Oh, yeah, Johnny was showing one this morning on his show. They were trying to figure out the solder points for I can't remember what it was for the motors, and they were saying they couldn't even find them. They were so small. In the Mini 04, they had to go look it up and figure it out.
On the
They said,
board?
they said somebody's got a center whoop coming out with an 04 unit on it for $199.
So he was, so the 04 light, was that what he's talking about then?
Yeah, the 04 light. He was showing how small it was. They found them. Yeah, they found where they were.
Yeah, hang on. Let me find mine. Because I have one.
But I tell you, $199 for an 04 little center whoop, little small one, makes me think. You know?
Yeah. I got two 04s pros and a light still in my inventory, but I need to order probably at least 2 more 04 pros.
Yep.
At some point, and I haven't seen the email yet, but at some point, iFlight is going to send me the new nose for my Nazgul. So $8.99 for new front aluminum brackets for the Nazgul.
Yep.
That costs
Hey,
nothing.
Paul, by Wednesday or Thursday, by Thursday, I should be about 8 to 12 pounds lighter.
What are you doing? Cutting off a leg or what?
Yeah, cutting off a foot. No, I'm since I'm gonna be tied up in this house, I'm gonna take the fluid pills,
No.
and I'm gonna double up the
Guy,
first day.
are you sure you're just not in the UK and you're actually going out to make an 8K an 8-pound purchase?
Nope. No, I'm about 7 pounds heavier with fluid because I'm starting to see it in my feet. When I
Right.
I don't wear slippers around here. I wear like flip flops, slides, and I noticed the creases starting to show up on the top of the foot. So it's time to start taking the fluid pills again.
Yeah, so Joe,
And I'll take one today. I'll take one tomorrow, and if it's not changing, I'll go to 2.
do you have the compression socks?
I'll drop weight quick. I have what?
Do you have the compression socks?
Oh yeah, I got those. I can't wear them.
Why?
Well, because I had cellulitis that hit the leg after the surgery on my knee. The dog scratched my leg, and I got cellulitis. What's happened to me was the skin, and I've been to a dermatologist, and she says all we could do is wait. It's gonna happen. You know, it could take a while, but the skin died. Some of it died, and it left like, I don't know how to call it. You can see it in the pictures if you see my legs, the darkness, but the skin hasn't come off yet, and you can't scrub it off. It's like it's underneath the layer is dead.
Yeah.
And if I have anything that rubs on it, I get a blister.
Oh, got it. Ouch.
Yeah.
Be extremely careful because that's what killed my mum.
Yeah.
The cellulitis bursting on her legs, and she got an infection in it and ended up with sepsis.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I got to be careful when I got to wear ankle socks, because if I have socks on and it happens to move and slide around, I'll get a blister right there at the top of the sock. And she told me, she says, she gave me medicine I put on it, and she says eventually it's going to open up. You know, it's gonna change. And I can see some change in it since I've been doing it. And I said, well, can't we just like scrub it off or take it off in some kind of way? She goes, no. She goes, because you're opening a wound.
Yeah, not until the skin's regrown underneath it.
And I said, well, what's taking it so long? And she says, you got
You
probably
diabetes-
about
you
a lot,
diabetes-
Borderline, very
you
borderline.
Yeah, but the sugar in your bloodstream stops it from healing as quick.
But it's healing, it's doing better. But I
Anyways,
noticed last night, Tino came over and licked the back of my leg and I felt something burn. I said, stop. And the pajamas I was wearing are tight down in the bottom and they were on my leg where that was. And I got a little piece of raw piece where he gave me a blister. I said, you gotta be kidding me. Because I haven't had one in about 6 months.
Yeah, and it's hard to put a dressing on it in case when you take the dressing off, it rips it.
Yeah, well, the other thing is if you don't leave it open, it doesn't heal as fast.
Yeah.
So I was gonna put liquid skin on it last night, but I said, no, I'm gonna leave it alone. And
how much
it's
Lasix
dried up
are
at
you
least.
taking?
But you got to leave it open so that it actually dries, and
Yeah,
that way
that's what I'm doing.
the skin will form underneath, and the top layer will just drop off.
Yep, that's what I'm trying. But like I said, it was from my knee down on one of my legs, and from about mid knee down. Mid leg down, mid calf down on the other leg, and it's a lot less now, but it's getting better. But it's like I have to be careful what I wear.
So Joe, where was he soldering? On the flight controller or the
No, I can't. I
04?
didn't know what he was going to solder. They were talking about the 3 points for the where you solder the motors on. There's something on the back. It's on the back side. There's 3 points in the bottom right corner. I think that's what they said it was.
That's the flight controller. I'm looking at
That might be.
I'm looking at it. I'm looking at the area in it going, I don't see any pads on the area in it. There's only
Yeah,
a
that's what they were
plug.
doing. I didn't hear the whole conversation. I noticed that's what they were talking about. It was the bottom right on the back. There was 3 little spots. And then if you look over to the left side on the bottom, there's 6 little spots, but I don't know what that's what I kind of tuned out.
This
Because it
is
didn't affect me.
Cinewoop
I couldn't tell you.
that he was building.
But they were talking about how small all the solder points were.
Yeah, he hasn't posted that video, has he?
No. That was on his live stream this morning.
Oh, yeah. That sounds like sounds like a shit. The hell kind of flight
I'll
controller.
be right back. That fluid pill's starting to work.
Kind of freaking flight controller. Okay. I guess I'll have to go. I guess I should go back and look at the replay from this morning. I didn't get up this morning until the end of that show, so 9 something.
Yeah, he started late today. He didn't start till about 20 minutes before Paul.
Oh. Anyways, I don't know what I'm going to do with that 04 light. I don't really have a drone to put it in. I just ordered it, so I had one in case I ever needed one. I know one thing I'm not going to do. I ain't never building a goddamn Cinewoop. I hate them. I haven't seen one I like. Although I suppose the one for Proto FPV, that guy's got an interesting frame. I still don't like Cinewoops. Although I suppose I need to build one so I have something to fly around inside the house during hurricanes.
Yeah.
Plan. That would be a plan.
What's that? One to fly around during hurricanes inside the house? Yeah.
See, that's what
But
I bought the Neo.
But I got the Avata, so the Avata 2, so why do I need to build one?
Yeah, I would have kept the flip, but I wasn't sure it was going to work inside the house. Because Paul didn't fly his inside the house. If he'd have told me it works inside the house, I'd have thought about it.
I guess it depends on how good those downward facing sensors are, because that's all those drones have indoors,
Yeah.
because they get no GPS.
That's why I sent it back, Paul.
And
Right.
and the other part of it is if you're flying around inside the house because the weather is that crappy outdoors, your odds of getting GPS are not very good anyways, because there's probably a lot of lightning and other shit up in the atmosphere that would muck with you in the first place.
Hey, Rod, ask him how often he flies in the house.
Never.
I don't, because I don't have a freaking drone that'll work inside here. Except the Avata 2. Actually, the Mini 3 Pro I used to fly in here.
And you don't fly the Avata 2 in the house.
No. But I have flown the Mini 3 Pro in the house. I actually flew when I first got it, I flew the Air 2 in the house, not the Air 2S. Because when I first started the Air 2 up, the dogs freaked out. That's why I learned the controls, just hovering it and flying just around here in the living room.
I will give it.
Right.
The flip is nice for indoors because of the way they protected the props.
That's right.
Yeah.
But that being said, those damn things could still suck a freaking
Gonna be
leaf from a
cold and
flower
slippery.
pot or a string, or that ain't gonna completely.
Well, anything that spins like that can do that, you know?
Yeah, exactly. So,
I mean, it's not foolproof, but it's as good as foolproof as you're going to get.
ideally, it's not really about that anyways. It's about fingers.
Yeah.
So from a fingers perspective, much better. You can still stick a finger up there, especially a kid. There's
Yeah.
enough gap between, you could easily
Yeah,
get
there's
a
a
small
big.
finger in.
Somebody's. I think it was. Let me see. Sean the drone. When he was hand launching, his little pinky went through it.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, he was talking about he's got to make sure it's flat.
Yeah, at the outside edges, it's wide enough to get a finger in.
But when you look at it, the flip has its sensors a lot more sensitive for indoor use. They've actually gone ahead and made it that it doesn't suffer from the low light condition problems that a lot of drones do.
well, part of that is
Mate.
it's using the 04, it's using the Mini 4 camera, which is that 1/1.3. That's the great part about the flip. It's a cheaper version of the Mini 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got, like 90% of the capability, camera wise.
None of the obstacle avoidance.
Well, it's got forward. If the flip's got the forward obstacle avoidance, which seems to be on par.
Infrared, it works for about 5 feet, if that.
Yeah, but
Mark, let me ask you a question. How often when you fly do you have to worry about obstacle avoidance? Are you flying in a parking lot? Are you flying through a tunnel? Are you where are you flying?
Over town.
Yeah, over town. It doesn't make a difference got obstacle avoidance or not, because it's not unlimited.
It does when I land in my garden, which is 4 trees.
Yeah, it's okay for stuff like that. But my biggest complaint, which they solved, God, what was the one they put LiDAR on recently? The Neo? No, the Neo didn't have LiDAR.
Yeah, Air3S.
Yeah, the 3S they put the LiDAR in there. That's been my gripe about their obstacle avoidance in the first place. That for the most part, it's quirky at best. And if you want a perfect example of that, look at Marcus when his fucking Air 3 flew into the side of the building. Simply because it got fooled by the colors. Because it uses contrast detection. God damn. Regular photo cameras haven't used contrast in like forever. So I gotta run.
the problem is that they've got to use something that they can process at a very high rate. You have to think of how much processing power it takes to actually take the feed from, say, 4 cameras and actually work out that there's an obstacle coming up that they've got to avoid. So it's got AI looking at all 4 streams of video, working out whether there's an obstacle there, and there's just so much processing power involved. You look at say the F3S with its LiDAR, there'd be kind of that near enough to doubles the amount of processing power they actually need to process the LiDAR data. So it's going to be interesting to see how they go with their future drones, because it's technology that takes a lot of processor time, and if you're taking processor time away from doing flight control and other things, you end up with problems. But I've went to the bases. The best obstacle avoidance is the person actually watching with the drones actually doing and actually guiding it. Whenever I'm actually doing a photo shoot where I've actually got power lines and things like that, I walk the route beforehand to actually have a look to see where everything is, so that I can actually avoid everything. I don't rely on the obstacle avoidance to actually do the job. And that's much like people complaining about the obstacle avoidance, Mr. A leafless tree. It didn't see all those little teeny-weeny little twigs. And a lot of people have trouble seeing those little those little twigs. So you're expecting a drone to actually be able to process quick enough to actually see something coming up while you're actually pounding it towards the obstacle at the high rate of knots. It's very, very hard to do. So the obstacle avoidance is never going to be perfect. Best obstacle avoidance is to actually go ahead and the human operator to literally know where all the obstacles are and make sure that the drone doesn't ever get there. That's why the good old rule that you must keep your drone within visual line of sight, so you can actually visually see that it's gonna hit a tree.
Yeah.
Like they don't have that rule for nothing. It's a case that is to avoid you hitting something and then the drone going out of control and actually possibly hitting somebody on the ground. So yeah, there's always a risk involved, and I've
drones replied to Bone Exile. Which country?
Just hold on, 26. Just got to get rid of something. Yeah, when you look at it, I actually do a lot of flying for the emergency services, and we operate off the top of cliffs down to stuff, etc. But we do a full risk assessment before the drone actually gets in the air. And it takes a lot of time to actually do it that way, but I can guarantee I don't even have close calls because I know that the obstacles are there, such as the power lines when I'm searching an area for a missing person. I know they're there, so therefore I plan to avoid them before the drones even got to that point. It's like going ahead and saying to the airline pilot, the the 737 has now got obstacle avoidance, and he's coming in for the approach. He comes in a little low and hits the power pole that he didn't that the obstacle avoidance didn't quite pick up because it was going too fast.
Yep.
It still comes down to the pilot.
Yeah, you
And
got to be careful what you ask for.
Yeah, you got to remember that aircraft are one of those things, or drones are just an extension of aircraft.
Yep.
And like the rule with aircraft, taken from a pilot who's actually flown aircraft, or a person who's flown aircraft many years ago. It's a case that if something goes wrong, you can't go ahead and say, well, that moved in front of me. You should know that it's there in the first place.
Right.
Kind of like the guy crop dusting who actually hits the power line on the way way out of the paddock. He says that he didn't even know it was there. Well, that's just poor planning. It's a case that you should know it's there. Adjust your operations pattern appropriately, so that you actually fly down the power line rather than across the power line. So you do the paddock slightly different. But yeah, it's one thing a lot of drone pilots don't quite understand. The obstacle avoidance has been put there to make sure you don't hit anything big, because you're having a hard time perceiving how close you are to an item. But to actually go have a drone that's actually going ahead
Well,
and
the thing of it is, Trevor, is that as from the time we're born until we die, a lot of people haven't developed depth perception because
Yes.
we don't have to do that. And what I learned is more and more I fly, I'm learning more about what my visual is versus actual.
Yes, and that's a lot of people have that problem. They just can't perceive the depth and etc. But in that type of case, you go ahead and you don't go doing 20, 30 mile an hour towards a spot that you can't guarantee that you can see it clear. You take it slow. It's like the vehicle we had off the cliff. I had about 3 meters of clearance between the cliff face itself and the vehicle on the side that I needed to be on to actually see what I needed to see. And it was very, very tight to actually operate through there, but going ahead and coming up with a plan and knowing where all the obstacles was made it quite possible. And the obstacle avoidance didn't have to, apart from the fact that it actually did detect that there was obstacles there, didn't have to do any work. But yeah, unfortunately, I feel it is a case that there's a lot of people out there that pick up a drone and they think obstacle avoidance, it can see everything. They haven't come up with a car yet that can actually guaranteed spot every single item on the road with the self-driving cars. I know Elon Musk did a trial of one of his driverless cars on a closed section of road, and they put up a picture of a kangaroo, and the car drove straight through it. Didn't try changing lanes or anything. It just drove straight. It just drove straight through the picture. They went ahead and said that was the the onboard computer system didn't know what it was, so it just kept going.
Yep.
It's something they're having to work on. But there's lots of little targets like that are going to pop up. They can't do it with driverless cars with the amount of room they've got to put computers in. Going ahead and knocking that problem off with a small lightweight drone. But there's got to do the processing that your standard home computer would actually be running at a fairly high CPU rate to try and do in the first place. So I think it's good that DJI has actually been able to produce a product that can actually do that. But yeah, there's only so much
We'll have to see what the future brings, Trevor.
Yeah,
I'm gonna call it for today. Everybody, thanks for being here.
Okay,
We'll see you all again later this afternoon.
I'll be back.
Bye for now.
Okay, see you.